The B Plus is growing, and we want you to be a part of it. So if you have an idea for a podcast, or if you want to, write reviews for shows, whether that's WWE, New Japan, local shows especially, we have a big focus on Aussie Grapps here. So if you go out to shows in Melbourne, we specifically need people in New Zealand, Tasmania, and Queensland. If you go out to shows in those areas, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. We would love to work with you. If you have a passion for wrestling and you want to write about anything wrestling, it can be anything. It can be listicles, it can be in-depth articles, opinion pieces, show reviews, whatever you want to do. If it's wrestling, it's fair game. Shoot us a message or send an email to thebplus@unchained.media. That's thebplus@unchained.media. Let us know what you want to do, and we'll get back to you, and we'll work something out, because the B Plus is growing, and we want to grow the B Plus family. Now, on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, the moss covered, three-handle family gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
number four, armbar.
I will never retire.
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, fellow B Plus players, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Friday. You know what that means. It's time for everyone's favorite B Plus Podcast episode, Aussie Grapps. It's Aussie Grapps Day. Today is the day we sit down and talk about everything going on in the world of Australian professional wrestling. We also sit down and speak to a grappler or grappler-adjacent person from within the Australian wrestling industry. This week, it's an interview that I recorded a long time ago. I recorded this interview months ago with a friend of mine, Keegan Brettle, who I actually trained with coming up at the Australian Pro Wrestling Gym. And this interview just sort of fell by the wayside because things were happening and people were, wanting to come on the show and wanting to promote things and what have you. And so this just never ended up coming out. And this week I had some things fall through, and I was talking to Keegan online, just getting an update on where he's at. And I was like, I should probably air that interview. So I've dug it out of the archives of my folders and what have you. And I've edited it together. And we're going to have an interview with Keegan. But first, let's take a look at this week in Aussie Grapps news. Starting us off with some hashtag Now We Conquer action. Madison Eagles is in the UK, or was in the UK. I'm not sure if she's still there, but she was over there for Pro Wrestling Eve. The She Won tournament went down on the 10th and 11th of November. 4 shows in 2 days, and Madison had a good showing. Unfortunately, she did not come out the ace of Eve. She did get a victory over Charlie Evans and Millie McKenzie. However, she lost to Viper and Jamie Hayter, who Jamie Hayter eventually went on to win the Ace of Eve crown in the final. But Madison absolutely tearing things up over there in Pro Wrestling Eve in the She Won tournament. Really happy to see that all the feedback has been positive and that she put on a good showing for us over there. Once again, carrying that hashtag Now We Conquer on her back. In international news that affects Australia, Cody went down with an injury at Ring of Honor. And the question was up in the air, like everyone was sort of waiting with bated breath. Is he going to be able to make his current slate of bookings? Because he does have World Series Wrestling lined up here in just a week. He touches down next weekend. World Series Wrestling, we will do a preview show next week. But World Series Wrestling takes place next weekend, and Cody is a big part of that. It is the Elite Takeover Tour, after all. And World Series Wrestling have been pretty lucky in that they have avoided any major injuries or people pulling out and things like that in the last year that they've been running since the reboot. Unfortunately, with this tour, the Elite Takeover Tour, they did have Joey Janela go down with the knee injury. He was replaced by Bandito, and everything has seemed to work out fine there. And hopefully Joey Janela does make it down for another tour in the future. Following that, we had Joey Ryan, and Joey Ryan tore his pec muscle, and we're still waiting on an update there. But with Cody, it looks like he is still going to make the booking. He's obviously not going to be at 100%. His knee is structurally sound. The doctor says he needs a surgery on it, but he's going to hold off that surgery until after Wrestle Kingdom as best he can, so he can make Final Battle, he can make Wrestle Kingdom, and, importantly for us here on Aussie Grapps, he can make World Series Wrestling. As for Joey Ryan, we're still not sure what's happening there, so it looks like he's torn his pec. We're waiting for the MRI results to come back. He tweeted out that he will still be coming to World Series Wrestling, which is great news. However, it may be in a purely meet and greet fashion. He has had to pull out of some dates over in America, and he's still coming to World Series Wrestling, but it might be in a purely meet and greet fashion. I reached out to World Series Wrestling, to Adrian, to see what the situation may be, and I've been assured that the World Series Wrestling Tag Team Championships will be defended. So we're hoping Joey Ryan is going to be able to wrestle. If he can't, however, he will have to choose a replacement who will defend the title on his behalf with Concrete Davidson. Now, fingers crossed Joey is able to wrestle and able to make the shows and do all the dates and actually defend those titles. But if he can't, I'm looking for Big Fudge to step up and step in. Now, he hasn't worked World Series Wrestling as far as I know, but when it comes to comedy matches, he's fantastic, and he knows what he's doing, and he can. I mean, you just have to replace the dick flip with the butt punch, and you're good to go. So I don't know. I feel like that could be a potential replacement, but hopefully, fingers crossed, Joey Ryan is able to defend those titles along with his partner, Concrete Davidson. In other news, I also like to talk about other things going on in wrestling media, and I've talked about, of course, the times when promotions have made it to TV channels and things like that here in Australia. A podcast came to my attention this week. It's called Human/Ordinary. He does seasons where he basically tells stories. He likes to tell stories, which is something we love here at the B+. And check it out, Human/Ordinary. They did one this week on Melbourne City Wrestling, where this gentleman is a wrestling fan. He followed around some of the wrestlers at training and at New Horizons, the big show on WWE Super Showdown weekend, and he's produced an entire episode about wrestling and about Melbourne City Wrestling specifically and how they do what they do and why they do what they do. And it was really cool to hear some of the stuff, to relive some of the moments, like Robbie with the kick out at one after the pile driver and stuff like that. The way he produced it, you could hear the crowd sounds in the background as he's telling the story. And yeah, it was a really well-produced show. It's definitely worth a listen if you're a fan of Australian wrestling, which of course you are. You're listening to this show. Why wouldn't you be a fan of Australian wrestling? Australian wrestling is awesome. Human/Ordinary on this week's episode captures that in a massive way, and it's definitely worth going out of your way to listen to. Also, in the world of wrestling media within Australia, Nikki Van Blair has launched a YouTube channel, Takedowns and Tiaras, he's calling the blog, and he had his first episode was all about wrestler shaming, which was when wrestling fans shame other wrestling fans based on who their favorite wrestler is. And this is a very real phenomenon, which is kind of a stupid thing to say. And he rightfully points out that, if you are a wrestling fan, you're a loser. And having a hierarchy within losers is weird. This is something I've said before as well, that it just doesn't make any sense. And it was really good to see Nikki Van Blair explaining that on his Takedowns and Tiaras vlog about wrestler shaming. Definitely check it out. I will drop a link in the show notes. I even get a shout out at the end there, because his dog has a ridiculously long name, and we will never agree on this. We will never agree on this, Nikki. The dog's name is too long. 3 names is too many names for a dog. You know what my dog's name is? Bo. Classic dog name. Classic dog name. Bo. That's what you call a dog. Moving on from there. One Fall Entertainment have announced. So One Fall we've talked about them before. They're a group that started doing sort of YouTube stuff where they interview all the wrestlers and everything, and they cover Australian professional wrestling much like we do. They have decided to go into promoting and booking and actually putting on shows, which is an interesting progression. I mean, if you love wrestling, and you start getting involved in wrestling, chances are you're going to end up there one day. You're going to give it a shot, right? Why wouldn't you? And so it's been really interesting to see them assemble sort of a super roster. They are relying heavily on Melbourne talent for the undercard, but in terms of the main event, they're really going all guns blazing, bringing in all of the PWG3, bringing in big names from Sydney, big names from Perth, etc. And they're really going hard out at building this roster. Just to give you an idea of who is on the upcoming shows, you've got Gino Gambino, Jonah Rock, Dowie James, Robbie Eagles, Logan Gray, Adam Brooks, Sid Parker, Fox, Erica Reed, Vixen, Bianca, Loverboy Lockie Hendricks, JXT, Slade Mercer, Campbell Crawford, Richie Taylor, Slick Nick Berry, Kaz Jordan. I mean, it's like I said, when you get to the undercard, you're looking at a lot more of Melbourne talent, but those top guys there that I listed, Jonah Rock, they've got all the PWG3. They've got Gino Gambino, they've got Logan Gray coming over from Perth. It's a fantastic lineup, and I'm really looking forward to this. But adding to the excitement, this week they actually announced that their shows, so we already knew that they were filming for TV, so it's Studio Superstars, it's in a custom-built TV studio, they're always intended to be on TV, it's coming out on Channel 31, but it's probably not coming out until 2019, I believe, and so they decided that a lot of people were like, we don't want to wait till 2019, why don't you stream it? They're actually going to stream it live. They're actually going to stream it live through a service called Kling, which is like a over-the-air pay-per-view provider over the internet. So you can get each show for only $10 or all 6 for $50 in a package. Now, that's 2 shows a week for 3 weeks, so the next 3 weeks starting from November 28th, Wednesdays and Thursdays become Wrestling Night in Australia, as we all sit back and watch some of the best guys in the country do what they do for 2 hours each night, back to back, Wednesday, Thursday, then the next week, Wednesday, Thursday. Very exciting. I'm curious, when the announcement first came out, I was a little skeptical. I'm like, Wednesday and Thursday? Like, what are you getting at? Like, people aren't going to want to go out to this wrestling show on a work night. Like, they get home from work, they got work the next day. I was worried that the live crowd would not be spectacular. However, knowing that they're looking at streaming it live, like, I can't wait to get home from work, kick back, put my feet up, and watch Gino Gambino, Jonah Rock, Dowie James, Robbie Eagles, Logan Gray, and Adam Brooks compete in a scramble match for a title. Like, that's fantastic. That sounds amazing to me. So I've gotten really, really excited about this, and I have reached out, going to sit down and talk to them for a preview show, which should come out next week. So stay tuned for that one. Obviously, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be able to keep up to date with everything that we do. So, yes, so Studio Superstars Wonderful Entertainment streaming live via Kling. Link will be in the show notes. Definitely check that one out. In other streaming news, Underworld Wrestling have made their first episode available on YouTube, completely for free. No excuse not to watch it. You need to get on there and check this out. I will drop a link in the show notes. Underworld 1 and 2 were really good, but Underworld 3 is where it's really started to find its feet and really start to get going, and I'm very excited for the next lot of Underworld tapings. They're actually taking place this weekend. I'm very excited to see how they come out on TV. But for now, if you've been hearing about Underworld Wrestling, which if you listen to my show, you have been hearing about it, you want to go back and check this out on YouTube. I'll put the link in the show notes. Underworld Wrestling 1 is available for you to watch. Jackson Kelly vs. JXT, Erica Reed versus Avery. Some really good matches on this one. But as I mentioned, this weekend we have the next set of tapings. At the end of the last episode, Lord Mark was talking about needing a plan B. And now there have been posts about him potentially building up the Claw again, because it looks like the Jurassic Punk and Erica Reed have both sort of left that faction, which is unfortunate. And yeah, it looks like he's going to be rebuilding the Claw. A name that has been thrown around is someone named Sagat Pyro, who he has reinstated, who is apparently an Underworld legacy who's been there for a while and has been reinstated. Now, Sagat Pyro, I'm not 100% sure, but Pyro, Champagne Pyro, Dowie James. That's my prediction. I'm calling it. I'm saying Dowie James is Sagat Pyro, but I don't know for sure. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens this weekend. But we'll get to that later. Other news, Riot City Wrestling have started releasing the Riot City Rumble show on YouTube. Most of the matches are available now. All of the matches other than the Rumble, as of time of recording, are available. by the time this show comes out, it's possible that the Rumble match itself will be up there as well. It's a really good show. I've been watching it as it comes out. The Gavin McGavin vs. Adam Brooks match, clear show stealer as far as I'm concerned. I really enjoyed that match. The tag match between the Pereira and the Millennials, fantastic. Two of the best tag teams in the country. It's free. It's on YouTube. There is no excuse for you to not be on top of Riot City Wrestling. Speaking of Gavin McGavin and Riot City Wrestling, this week they announced Gavin McGavin vs. Katie Trey for the EPW Championship has been made official. The first ever EPW title defense outside of Western Australia, outside of EPW, will happen on December 8th at Riot City Wrestling's Battle for Supremacy. Unfortunately, I will not be at this show. Once again, I'm going to miss Gavin McGavin again. I'm really excited to see him live here in Adelaide at Riot City, but I'm in Sydney for Fridays for the Babes for that weekend. I'm actually going to be up in Sydney visiting family, visiting friends. I'm originally from Sydney. People know this. So I'm heading up to check out the PWA show. It's their last show of the year. And also do Christmas things with family and friends. So I'm not going to be at Battle for Supremacy. Once again, I'm missing a big Riot City show. And once again, I'm missing Gavin McGavin, which is bumming me out, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. Something else I'm missing out on. Wrestling Go announced this week. Ricky South, Matty Wahlberg, Iron Man match. 30-man Iron Man match. We here at the B Plus are big fans of Ricky South. We are big fans of Matty Wahlberg. These two are two of the guys that we list when we look at the future of Australian professional wrestling. These are two of the first names that come up, Ricky South and Matty Wahlberg. And they're going to go toe-to-toe for 30 minutes in an Iron Man match for Wrestling Go on December 16th at the aptly titled Wrestling Go Iron Man. That takes place at the Marion Community Centre. That's on December 16th. Which is 2 days after I fly out of Sydney to come back to Adelaide. So I'm going to miss out on Matty fucking Wahlberg and Ricky fucking South for 30 minutes. I'm really bummed out. I'm missing out on all the great stuff. No, I'm going to Fridays for the Babes, so that's going to be amazing. But yeah, they announced this match. They announced this match as well. They announced it 2 days after I booked my flights to Sydney. So if they had have announced this just 2 days before, I would have been able to extend my stay and stay for a couple of extra days to make sure that I didn't miss this match. But alas, it was not meant to be. Iron Man match, Wrestling Go, Ricky South, Matty Wahlberg. Definitely get across that. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one when it makes tape. Something else that I am hoping makes tape so that I can watch it is Pro Wrestling League. Pro Wrestling League are a new company up in Queensland. They're having their first show this weekend, Project Revolution. They are crowning a new champion, and the lineup is insane. I'll go through all of the matches on the show when I do what's happening near you this weekend, but you got guys like Robbie Eagles, Mick Moretti, Tim Cade, the Babes are going up, SMS are going up for this, Rufio's on the card. It's just a fantastic card. It looks like it's combining some of the best Queensland professional wrestlers, which I don't know a lot of Queensland professional wrestling. I've been through this before. It's not as accessible as a lot of the other products out there in other states, and hopefully Pro Wrestling League are going into this saying that they want to change that. They want this to be more accessible. They want this to be a high-end product for Australian wrestling, and, you know, with guys like Robbie and Moretti involved, that automatically piques my interest and gets me confident. And when I look at the names there from the local talent, they're all people that have, they're mostly people that I've heard really good things about, so I'm definitely looking forward to this show making tape, and I'm really looking forward to it. Pro Wrestling League is one to check out. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. I haven't been giving them as much coverage, just because, you know, things get crazy and it's hard to cover everything, but definitely keep your eye on Pro Wrestling League this weekend and in the future. Couple more things to talk about. Over in New Horizons Pro Wrestling, Lena Kross, the Warrior Rising champion over in New Horizons Pro Wrestling, has gone down with an injury. Really unfortunate time. It occurred in a match with Soraya Knight, and she was set for another match with Soraya Knight this weekend in Meriden, but unfortunately that match is not going to go ahead, and Lena is going to be on the shelf for a little while. I reached out for an update, and Lena told me she's going in for a surgery today to get the bone reset. So it was a broken collarbone, a clean break in the collarbone. She's gone in today for surgery to get the bone reset because of the overlap. So hopefully it's going to get her back a little bit quicker than if it was just to heal naturally. But it looks like she's probably going to be out until 2019. We're going to see how things go. But best wishes to Lena Kross. Get well soon. Lena Kross is one of the when you talk about B+ favourites, she's one of our favourites. She's one of the upcoming talent in Australia that we've got our eye on, that we think has the potential to be one of those names for the future of Australian professional wrestling. We're very big on Lena Kross here at the B+. So it sucks to see this happen. It sucks whenever anyone goes down with an injury, but speedy recovery to Lena. Get well soon. We want to see you back in the title picture, back defending the championship. No word yet on what's happening with the championship, but with her being out until 2019, there's every possibility that it's going to be stripped away. So paying attention to that situation, we'll let you know more as it unfolds, but best wishes to Lena Kross, and we wish her a speedy recovery, obviously. In other women's wrestling news in Australia, Glow, the second edition of Glow is coming up. It's next weekend, November 25th. That one takes place in Melbourne, and the main event has been announced. Indi Hartwell, Tessa Blanchard, one-on-one. They've teamed up elsewhere in the world, and now they're going to go one-on-one. They've fought before as well, but we get it in Melbourne now as part of Glow. Really, really excited for that one. It's going to be a fantastic main event. Also on the show, making her debut for Melbourne City Wrestling and Glow, is Tali, a good friend of the show. So for those who don't know, Tali actually was another person that I trained with at the Australian Pro Wrestling Gym. So when it comes to people like Tali, Keegan, Jason Dewhurst, these are people who I cannot help but be biased for. So just keep that in mind in any coverage that I do of Australian Pro Wrestling Gym, in any coverage that I do of Tali, Jason Dewhurst, or Keegan, because they were my mates when we were coming up. So any coverage I do of them, I'm going to be completely biased. And yeah, Tali, really proud of Tali. It made her debut at Newcastle Pro Wrestling the other week, which made me very happy to see. And now she's also making a debut with Melbourne City Wrestling. She has a match against Avery at the second edition of Glow in Real Life. Very excited for that, because I can actually watch that one. That one going to come up on MCW Encore On Demand. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the Newcastle Pro Wrestling one coming out too. I want that to come up on PWA Play soon, guys. And yeah, so Tali making her debut at Glow. Like I said, I'm going to be biased. And I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize at all. These are my mates. Speaking of my mates, let's have a listen to the chat that I recorded months ago with Keegan. Keegan, I'm really sorry it took me so long to get this one out, but you know how it is. The world of wrestling is a wacky one. So, this is a chat that I had with Keegan a while ago. He has, in the meantime, been over at the Lance Storm Academy. I'll give you an update on what he has been up to while he's over there after you hear the chat. And then, of course, I will run you through everything that is happening this weekend in Aussie Grapps. Alright, I am joined at this time by someone who I actually started training with way back when in the day. Big Keegsy B. How you doing, Keegan?
Good, my old friend. Thanks for having me on the podcast. It is an honour.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate you coming on. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. It's been, I think I haven't seen you in about, 2 or 3 years? Maybe 3 years more?
Yeah. Well, I moved down to Adelaide, 5 years ago now? No. 4.
Oh,
no. But I saw you last time I came up, because last time I came up to Sydney, I dropped in on one of the Australian Pro Wrestling Gym shows.
That's where I think I remember seeing you, yeah. Yes.
And everyone was like, where you been? And I was like, oh yeah, I moved to Adelaide and just kind of forgot to tell anyone.
Yeah, you big stranger.
Yeah. No, it was a whole thing, life happens to you before you even know what's going on.
I know, man, I know.
Yeah, your life's been happening to you.
Oh yeah, mate. It's pretty crazy. It's been great. The one thing that's not great is this jet lag I'm struggling with. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because you're home at the moment, right?
Yeah, I'm in Australia. I've been here since Friday. So right now, what day is it? It's Monday. To be honest, bro, that was my 5th trip to the States that I've done, and this trip, man, the jet lag has kicked in so bad. I'm waking up at like a real normal time. I'm waking up at 6:30, 7 a.m., which is a bit earlier than usual.
Yeah.
But I'm falling asleep at 7 p.m., 7:30, and I'm absolutely stuffed by midday. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really kicked in this time. But we leave for Canada on Thursday, so it's just as I come good, I reckon. It's gonna have to get reversed.
Yeah, your body's gonna have to switch again. So you're really living the wrestler life. Like it's you've been traveling, and no rest for the wicked. How long were you over there on this last trip?
The last trip I was over there for how long was it? for just over. It was about a month and 10 days.
Right.
So I think I had 13 shows in that time. 13 shows, and I think I probably fit in about 13 days at Disneyland as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, you keep it busy
awesome.
on your non-show days. I see on your Snapchat and your Instagram stories and whatnot, going to all the theme parks.
I mean, it's a I'm 24, man. I'm training wherever I go as well. I'm going to the gym every day, but when I'm not doing that, there's no way in hell I'm going to be in another country and sit in the hotel, mate. I'm going to be out there exploring, and it doesn't matter, man. We could be in West Virginia or Kentucky or Tennessee. Not that those are boring places or anything, but when are you going to be back there next year? You never know. So we've done lots of exploring, and always ask the locals for the hot tips. And yeah, I think we did all the man. We went to like Graceland, the Elvis thing, and
that's
we've drunk on every major drinking street in America. I've had some wild times, man. But it's been good, and the wrestling, that's what it's all about, But I've loved it. I've been very blessed this year, bro.
Right. So who are some of the companies you've worked for while you've been over there? Because it's a crazy list.
Well, it's a crazy list, man. CZW, IWA Mid-South, Ohio Valley Wrestling. They're probably the three biggest ones, man.
Right.
But then,
and CZW,
sorry.
That's all right. CZW is kind of where you're making yourself a little home away from home, right?
Yeah, man. I think if I was to ever move out there, it'd definitely be that spot. I told DJ, next time I'm up there, I want to get myself involved in the deathmatch game, brother.
Oh no, you're not. Oh man, me. That stuff makes me cringe.
Mate. No, just one, mate. Look, I've wrestled Lucha Libre. None of this, small cruiserweight stuff. I've wrestled actual Lucha Libre matches, at my current size, and 3 years ago I did it. So I've flown around the ring, and I've, done all that stuff. I've wrestled the American style, the Australian style, which is pretty much the same. I've wrestled all kinds of stipulation matches and things. I want to do all kinds of wrestling, man. I love it. So I want to do a death match, and I'll do anything except for cinder blocks and syringes.
Syringes? That's a thing?
Oh yeah, mate. I want to do chainsaws either. I don't know. I don't know if they're a common thing, but hey, I want to get out there, and there's a big crowd for that. There's a big following for that, and I've been at CZW, I've been at IWA Mid-South. I saw a guy at IWA Mid-South, tombstone a guy off the top rope through a table, powerbomb onto a trolley, and a whole bunch of crazy shit.
Oh, the trolley powerbombs kill me. They look brutal.
The trolley was filled with glass panes as well. So
of course it was. Why wouldn't it be? And just this last Friday, I went to Wrestle Rampage, and Jonah Rock came off the top of a ladder onto like a bundle of the light tubes that was placed across Tyler Trench's chest. Yeah, it was insane. I was, and I'm like, that's about as hardcore. Like, more than that, I cringed. Like, they pulled out a cheese grater in that match, and I'm like, no.
Well, maybe I don't have to head back to the States then, mate. Maybe I could go to Wrestle Rampage and do that.
Yeah, man.
That sounds like a lot of fun, bro.
Yeah, Jonah, if you're listening, book Keegan, man. He's willing to do anything.
Yeah, I'll do anything to get my name out there, mate. I'm just a young lad trying to make it out here.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Sorry to interrupt the podcast, B+ players, but I just need to take a second to tell you about Threadbox. Threadbox is a subscription service for men that makes looking good easier than ever before. Just fill out a few questions to start building your style profile, and from there you will be paired with a stylist who will send you new threads once a month, so you don't have to worry about checking the stores and finding new clothes. It's like having a personal shopper and stylist at your fingertips, and you just sit back, relax, wait for your awesome new gear to arrive in the mail. They sent me a box this month. I got a new pair of jeans. I got 2 shirts. You can check out the unboxing video on the Facebook page. And the best part about it is you can get in touch with your stylist by email at any time. So if you need new singlets, if you need new long sleeves, if you need new shoes, if there's something specific you want, you just let them know what you need and they'll tailor the box to your specific requests. It's a completely personalized service available on any budget. You'll always get way more value than you pay for because Threadbox work with all the best brands. Boxes start from just $40, and if you use our code, the B+15 at checkout today, you're going to get 15% off your first box. So what are you waiting for, man? Like, if you want to look better with less effort, head to threadbox.com.au and use the code the B+15 to get your box today. Do you find it... How do you find, like, what are the differences between the States and here in terms of, like, getting your bookings and just the general culture?
All right. So I think in the States, it's taken a lot more seriously. Now, I don't want anyone in Australian wrestling to take that as a knock, man, but it is definitely taken a lot more seriously. I tend to look at guys in Australia and overseas who are taking it more seriously, and I respect them a lot more. Guys that go to the gym, guys that train, guys that travel for shows. And when I say travel, I just mean hop in the car. Like, you know, you don't need to get on a plane or whatever. I mean, you could, I do. But, I mean, a lot of guys back home, they don't even want to travel, 2, 3 hours, 4 hours for a freaking show, But these guys, there's like 5 of them. They get in a car, they make a 12-hour trip. They cross state lines and everything like that over there, and it's a brotherhood. People, they got the fanny packs and the merchandise is a real serious thing, and they just take it so much more seriously over there. No matter where you go, I just think they're on the ball over there, bro. Everyone's more in shape. They're, you know what I mean? And like here, you have guys that do take it seriously, but then when there's so many people that aren't, it's just hard,
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of people here that are taking it seriously, that are in super good shape, that are,
of course.
I'm noticing a lot more guys starting to travel as well, starting to like show up at interstate shows where before everything was kind of more insulated.
Yeah, I suppose, man. I mean, I think, you're right.
I'm not in the locker rooms, so I don't know how people take it attitude-wise or anything like that. So, but just
every time I've traveled interstate, everyone's been super cool, and you should be. At the end of the day, man, wrestling is a brotherhood. Backstage, I can go backstage and I can be in anywhere, and everyone's going to be super cool. Yeah. Everyone's going to ask me about where I'm from. If I'm in Australia, they're going to say, where do you wrestle in Sydney? Where do you wrestle in New South Wales? If I'm in America, they'll say, tell me, do you ride kangaroos, and everyone hits it off everywhere you go. Like, I got asked about 400 times, are there deadly snakes over there? Mate, stop asking me that question. I live in Parramatta. I live next to a city, but it should be the same everywhere. You know what I mean? We should all get along, but yeah, man, it just people take it more seriously than others as well at the same time.
Right, so it's treated. So I'm guessing what you mean kind of is over there. It's treated more like a business. Like people understand the business. Like you said, they have the bum bags and the merch, and they're all good to go, and they're treating their bodies the right way, and they really look at it more like the business over there.
Yeah. And they'll hustle to get those bookings and make the towns, and they stick together a lot more, I mean, here in Sydney, I don't really have... I mean, I've got lots of friends, through wrestling.
Yeah.
But I don't rely on anyone. I don't rely on anyone to help me get places. It's just me and Jasmine. We stick together, and, I help get her booked. She helps get me booked. We look after each other. We got each other's backs, But... Yeah, I mean, everyone over there just, it's like, hey, there's a show on over here. I see people posting up on Facebook, there's a show on over here. I got one car spot available. And, that's how I got a lot of my bookings, bro. Just jump in the car with people, I travel interstate, and Bob's your uncle, you're on a show. Like, you show up, you got good gear, you got a good attitude, you introduce yourself, you got to be confident, you'll get on. And obviously, show what you can do. People will like what you do,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know what you're talking about with the posts on Facebook and stuff. I've got a buddy from a conspiracy forum, a conspiracy website, who is actually a wrestling promoter in Florida. And I've seen that kind of thing. You know, I've seen the posts of the, like, let's get this, let's, who's available, rah, rah.
Yeah, I wrestled for like 3 places in Florida, and strangely enough, bro, I found it a little bit hard to get bookings out there in Florida. You know, you think with the NXT thing and the Impact thing, that's the place to be and that's the place to go. But man, I was really reaching when I was trying to get booked out there. That was just the biggest surprise all year, because we've been out to Orlando on 2 separate occasions for like a week at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've wrestled there maybe 4 times, but I just thought we could get more while we're out there. And I was just a little bit surprised.
Ah, fair enough. I'll have to put you in touch with Jay next time you go out. Let me know when you're going out, like what dates you're out there for.
I'll hit him back to Orlando because I'm going back to Disney World, mate. That's my favorite place.
You're all about the theme parks. I've noticed that. Is it just Disney World, or is it any theme park?
Look, I've been to Six Flags, right? That's cool. I like the rides, but I love Movie World on the Gold Coast. I grew up, and that was our holiday spot. But I love the rides with a bit of a story to it. You know, like did you go to the Movie World in the Gold Coast?
No, I've never been to Movie World. The only real theme park I ever went to was like Wonderland, man. Like when we were kids.
Oh, Wonderland, yeah, that was the best. That was the stuff right there. But Movie World, like they had these sweet rides. They had the Scooby-Doo ride, right?
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo Haunted Mansion, whatever it is. And you go through, right, and they got all the Scooby-Doo things popping out, and then Scooby saves you at the end, and it's so sick, right?
Right, so like the Raiders of the Lost Ark ones and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
kind of, right? And what they did was they ended up taking out all the Scooby-Doo stuff, so now it's just this dark ride with nothing in it. It's just a slow, dark roller coaster that's really boring, and it has nothing to do with Scooby-Doo. So I went there about a year ago, and I saw that, and I wanted to cry. You know, I was looking forward to Scooby-Doo after the first time in years. So, I mean, I'm a big fan. I love, even Luna Park and stuff. But, man, Disneyland in Anaheim and Disney World in Orlando are next level, brother. They are just, they're the best. You know, you get the story, you get the ride, the food there is good. You know, everyone's happy. It's a good time.
Right. Well, I mean, Disney World is like the size of Penrith.
Oh, bro.
Like biggery. It's
probably like Penrith and Emu Plains combined.
It's pretty insane, just that it's that
massive.
size. And they're growing it too, right? Like, aren't they putting in they're putting in like a Star Wars theme park or?
Yeah, bro.
It's crazy.
We went there in April, and in April they didn't have Toy Story Land built.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we went back in July, because it was being built and it was opened in June. So we went back just for Toy Story Land, and that was insane, bro.
That's crazy.
I think huge. What are you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say they got a huge Woody, but I kind of wanted to stop myself from saying that anyway.
Huge Woody. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I guess I'm going to have to go over there when the kids are a bit older. Next time they do, because they'll do another WrestleMania there. They'll do a bunch more WrestleManias there. So when there's a WrestleMania there and the kids are like 6 and 7, that's probably when we'll head over, because that's goals anyway.
You don't want them to be too young. You see the parents there grabbing them by the back of the shirt, they're tired, they're swats, man. It just looks like a painful day. I think me and Jasmine are lucky at the moment, but
yeah, no,
I'd love to do that with some kids.
Even just here going to the zoo and stuff, you see parents with their kids on the leash and stuff. And I always said, like, we're never going to do that.
Oh no, you can't break out the leash, mate. That's they're not animals, mate. That's
but ours are pretty good. Like we go out to the zoo all the time and out to the city and stuff, and they stay real close. They don't do the whole running off thing. So I think we've got them well trained. So I think we'd be all right. But I think that they're not going to remember it if we take them now.
No, well that's exactly that's the point. Are your kids on the iPads though?
Occasionally.
Glued to the iPads?
No, not glued to it. Not glued to it. It's just occasionally.
Oh, that's good.
It's actually good as long as you're monitoring them and like they're playing educational apps. Like we don't sit them there and not know what they're doing or let them just watch YouTube. That's like they don't have YouTube or anything on it. It's like they have the Blaze counting app and the Dora animal app and stuff like that.
Oh, of course. I was talking to Jasmine today about when I was a kid, I used to go to this caravan park with my family. nearly once or twice a year, and it was just awesome. You get on the bikes and you get next to the beach, and everyone in the caravan park knew each other, and it was a good time and a good vibe, and we got to get away from our Game Boys and our PlayStation 2s for a bit, but now it's just crazy, man. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when I have kids, because I don't want to have kids for like another 5-10 years on the down low. I don't know about what the old boss out there, wants to do. I think she's pretty ready to do all that soon. But no, mate. She's the manager of the group and the good looks of the group. So we gotta save that for a while,
Absolutely. No, look, we're starting to sound like old men talking about back in my day and iPads. And all that. So let's bring it back.
24. I'm 24. Yeah.
I'm a bit older than you, but it sound like the grumpy old man. Let's bring it back. You are the current reigning, defending AIWF Australian champion.
Yep.
It's probably more of an intercontinental champion. I don't want to put any ideas out there, but it's kind of more an intercontinental championship now, the way you've defended it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to sound a bit silly, mate, but what does intercontinental mean? What is that?
That's two continents.
Is that like?
It's been defended on two continents.
Then let's. And Canada's attached to the US, right?
Yeah, that's
so
the
that'd
same
be the
continent.
same.
Yeah, but if you were to take it to say the UK, then it would be a world championship because it's been on three continents.
I got plans for that. So I'm hoping to make it what it is, I suppose, the international championship, but. It's been a really good thing for me to have, man. That's helped with a lot of my bookings this year, a lot of them. And it was really, really, really cool. It was at the start of this year when I won that. It was, I think, my second match, actually.
Right.
And it was in the back of North Carolina, which is just a wild place. It's about 10 minutes from the Virginia border, and everyone out there is just as country as you could imagine, bro. And they... I felt like a huge city slicker when I was there, and just had a real good time. I wrestled there on the Saturday, and then I went back and defended the belt on the Sunday in the same venue. I've defended it at all across America and a little bit in Australia too. So it's been awesome.
Now, AIWF isn't actually a promotion, obviously. It's a like a sanctioning body, kind of like NWA kind of thing? Is that...
Exactly.
Right, so how did you get involved with them? Was it just they saw you on the show and were like, this is our new guy? Was it...
Last year, I worked for someone in Australia who was an AIWF affiliate for Australia, okay? And they wanted to put one of their championships on me. Something fell through. I ended up speaking with the AIWF director in the US, and he just said if you're coming over, we'll do something good for you. And I said sweet. So something good was done for me, and here I am. I'm a very happy guy, and it's led to lots of opportunities for me this year, man. And I'm just very happy being the champion, and we'll see where that takes me, I guess, man. It's taking me all around the shop, so I'm glad, man. Yeah,
absolutely. Fighting champion and traveling champion, so it's good to see. It's good to see. Like, whenever I see it, man, whenever I see you pop up, especially when I saw you guys popped up at Ohio Valley Wrestling, and I was like, that is incredible. Like, I'm really happy for you guys. You're doing good things.
Oh, Ohio Valley Wrestling, sorry. I thought you said Hunter Valley.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was awesome, man. I actually had, you remember Elijah Burke?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually was the agent for my match. So he helped me put my match together and everything, and it was just really cool, listening to him, and he planned the exact kind of match I'd love to work. So it was a lot of fun just, being able to learn a little bit from him, and he was a really cool guy. And then I got some good feedback from Al Snow afterwards.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That was Yeah, that was sick, man. Yeah.
That's like bucket list stuff, almost. Maybe I have a really low expectation of bucket list, but for me, I'm like, hey, Al Snow liked your match.
No, man, it was awesome, bro. Like, it's one of the places. I remember I was sitting in it was one of the first times I ever worked TV taping, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and there's this room that they have, and it's just full of, like, 8x10 signed by everyone who's been in there. So you got like John Cena, Batista, the whole list. And there's so many more than you would actually think that went through there, OVW.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and Al Snow and all the guys in the gorilla position are just like, going off, at the TV and everything like that. And get that camera shot, get that one, go to camera 3, back to the hard cam. Like it was nuts, And then this is like the first match, and the guy I was wrestling was quite new as well, and he was freaking out a little bit, I think. And then all of a sudden something happens, and then like, all right, we got time. Where's Keegan? I was like, oh, I'm right here, mate. And they're like, you're out now. I was like, okay, So I was trying to just be real cool, We went out there, me and this guy, and the finish was a knockout punch. And I swear to God, brother, It was the guy that I was wrestling was the debut for him as the knockout guy, the knockout king or whatever.
Right.
Because he's like a boxer. He's a shoot boxer in real life.
Okay.
And at the end of the match, when it came time for him to knock me out, bro, he fucking knocked my clock off, mate. It was it was brutal, man. But I took it like a champ. They got me good there with the good camera shot there, so they were all happy. But yeah, man, that was a really fun experience, and I think I'd like to go back and spend a few months there, to be honest.
That's crazy. Yeah, that'd be amazing. So, I mean, you are heading back. You're heading over to Canada, right? You're going to Storm Academy?
Yeah, I'm going there on Thursday.
I mean, going to Storm Academy, they kind of strip you back to basics, right? Like, you're going to relearn everything all over.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. I can't wait for that. I think learning from someone like Lance Storm is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got an amazing pedigree, an amazing body of work. And when you look at the people from here who've gone over there, and then come back,
yeah, exactly.
There's not a single one of them that haven't become one of the biggest names in the country, or, of course, gone on to head overseas. I mean, Emma, Peyton, Billy, they all went.
Of course, man. Well, I'm hoping, just to, take what I know over there and, just leave it at the door, I guess, and let him start from scratch. I'm very confident in my abilities and everything at the moment. But there's going to be so many little things that he picks up on, and he teaches me new ways to do things. It's just going to be awesome, and I hope that when I come back, I'm the complete wrestler, and I can get out there and just hang and bang with the best of them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of Australian promotions that are missing from your resume when I have a look at it. There's a couple I'd like to see you pop up on.
Yeah, man, there is a few.
Is it? Do you think it's hard because you're kind of not aligned with any of the big Aussie companies and their schools and what have you, that it makes it harder to get bookings here, or?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be getting booked at, the PWAs or the Newcastle Pros in Sydney anytime soon. And that's not a problem, bro. I don't have an issue with anyone over there. I'm cool with everyone as far as I'm concerned. I think they all train hard, they do well, they put on good shows and good on them. But if you're not a part of their, their thing, then you're not going to get booked on their shows. And I don't see myself, going over there to train and learn from them and be a part of their crew. I'm very, happy at APWG and everything. But I think at the same time that they're all aligned with the other top companies in the country. So they have working relationships with other companies, and, that's cool, man. But I think I'm one of the hardest working, non-PWA guys, I guess you could say, in New South Wales, I take care of myself. I try, look as professional as possible. I put on great matches. The crowd's always loud whenever I work. I travel, do whatever I can because I love this business, and I want to, do the best for myself, my girlfriend Jasmine, and we want to be the best. It's as simple as that. But I'm not I like being an independent pro wrestler. I don't want to be someone who's, tied down to a group. I don't want to be, what is the saying? A small fish in a big pond. I don't want to be the big fish in the small pond either.
Yeah.
I just want to be like a shark. I just want to be like a big shark. I don't want to eat everyone. I'm not out there to do that. I don't know, bro. I'm not going to be anything in the water, I guess. That's a bad analogy. I'm moving away from that.
You're doing your own thing, though, sort of thing. You like having the freedom.
Exactly, bro. Yeah. Exactly. Like, I'm not aligned with the, the other companies like AWF or, AWE or IWA.
I don't understand. I don't understand the exclusivity stuff. I guess in terms of, like, having, a place for guys that train at your school and giving them priority, I understand that. But at the end of the day, I think that the best wrestlers should just get on the show. I think. I don't know.
I think it's a good. I mean, there's a lot of crappy wrestlers out there, bro, and it's a way for people to weed that out, I guess. But I don't put out crappy wrestling. When you watch me on a show, I'll give you a great match, and I want people to remember me. But at the end of the day, it's not like that with everyone else. So what they have at PWA, I guess, for example, they have a good system where they train people really hard and they train them for a very, very long time before they can get on their shows.
Yeah.
Whereas other places they kind of rush people, and then you just got guys that are just kind of there. Like, there's how many wrestling schools are there now in New South Wales alone? There's probably 7 or 8 or something. I think there's 17 or 18 promotions in the state. And that's too many. But I don't know, man. I mean, if you really sat there and tried to work out the logistics of it all, I think too many companies are really raking in the cash. There's probably one company in New South Wales, I reckon, that's really, really crushing it. That's probably Newly Pro, They get big houses every show, and that's all that matters, man. It doesn't matter, none of this exclusivity stuff or clicks or anything like that, I think the best wrestlers should get on the show, but there is a reason for doing that,
that's what I mean. Like, I do understand it, but at the same time, sometimes it's like, it would be really cool to see, especially some of the big... I mean, it's happening more now, but to see some of the people sort of cross over where you're like, oh, that guy would probably have a really good match with this guy. And you can't see it because this guy's aligned with this particular place, and they're either not allowed to or just for whatever reason don't go elsewhere.
I think if that was ever going to happen, the time would be now. But I don't see that happening quite a lot. As I said earlier, man, I think I'm crushing at the moment in terms of people that aren't aligned with anyone in New South Wales. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna throw myself at number 1, mate. You know why? Because I throw myself out there, travel, put on good matches all the time, and I'm not aligned with anyone.
You are. I consider you one of the hardest working dudes that I know. I mean, when we broke in together, I broke straight back out. But when we started training together and stuff, we always had that mentality of just go everywhere, do everything, travel, learn, and then the recognition will come. And I think you're doing that, man. I think you're killing it. All the stuff over in the States. I'd love to see you pop up over in the UK, man. A lot of our guys are having great success over in the UK. And, I think that eventually everyone has to stand up and take notice. Oh, crap, this guy's, this guy knows what's going on. This guy's got it. And I think you're on the right track with that, man.
I appreciate that, bro. I don't think it's happening yet, to be honest. I mean, it's really cool hearing you say that, man. And occasionally, other people will say that to me. People back home will message me while I'm over there and say those kind of things, but I really don't think everyone has taken notice yet of just what we've done. And it's been incredible, and I feel like they should. But I still feel also like I have a long way to go. I feel like this Canada thing is going to be great. And I have some plans for the new year, which should really, turn some heads. Although, like you said, man, that it probably should be turning heads, already. I think what we've done it's been incredible.
Yeah, I think it'll get there, man. Like I said, definitely on the right track. I'm loving everything you're doing. Let the people know where they can follow all your adventures.
Mate, the people can follow my adventures. Follow me on Instagram because I post a lot of my Instagram story and I'm still getting the hang of it, but I just find that is a really cool little tool to have. I post up a lot on there, and that's at KeegzyB16, K-E-E-G-Z-Y 16. Oh, wait, no, I spelled that wrong. K-E-E-G-Z-Y-B16. That's also my Twitter. I don't really know what to tweet, so I don't use it too often. But I'll try to get on there and repost some cool stuff, so you can check that out. But my Facebook is pretty banging too. Post up a lot on there. That's facebook.com/King Keegs, King Keegz. That's King Keegs.
All right, and thanks a lot for joining us, man. It's been great to have you on.
Mate, thank you for having me on, Greg. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're training right at the moment, yeah?
Yeah. I've gotten back into training down at Adelaide Championship
ACW,
Wrestling.
yes?
Yeah.
Well, mate, I want to come to ACW one day and look across the ring and see you. That'd be really cool, man.
That'd be great. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, brother. Let's do it.
See you soon.
Take care, mate.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Keegan Brettle, currently training at the Storm Academy over with Lance Storm in Canada. He's been wrestling a bunch all over Alberta, a few other shows in various regions of Canada. I see pictures of him on Instagram all the time on his story and stuff with him all like jacketed up in the snow and stuff. So he's finishing that on November 30th and coming back to Australia, I think in December. I think mid-December he's coming back home. So if anyone's looking to book Keegan, December 18th, I think he said, is when he returns. And yeah, so he's been having a good time training with Lance. He actually had a match at CWE just last week where he lost his hair. He got his hair cut by Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Just let that sink in for a second. Like, what a for a kid who grew up watching professional wrestling in the late 90s, early 2000s, like Keegan and I did. Just crazy to think that Brutus the Barber Beefcake gave him a haircut. That's insane. He's doing good stuff, so definitely check him out on the social media and see. So definitely check him out on the social media and keep your eye on Keegan. He is a name to watch. And if you liked that interview and you want to hear more Aussie Grappling and Grappling adjacent interviews, make sure you check out our friends on the Turnbuckle this week who sat down with Adam from Underworld Wrestling to talk about everything to do with Underworld Wrestling. It's going to be a great interview. Definitely want to check that one out. And as I mentioned in the news section, Human/Ordinary covered Melbourne City Wrestling this week. Definitely one that you need to be downloading. Even if you don't give it a subscribe, I mean, I've given it a subscribe because I like the way this guy tells stories, but you need to hear this story in particular. So check out this episode if you like it. Hit subscribe. It's always good to support local artists. It's always good to support local journalists and people that are doing the real work and actually telling interesting stories. It's something that we want to support, so definitely check out Human/Ordinary. I think the episode is called King of Sports or something like that. It's basically a play on King of Sports stuff, but it's for Melbourne City Wrestling, and you definitely want to check it out. Speaking of Melbourne City Wrestling, they have a big show coming up this weekend, and that's not all. There are all kinds of shows coming up this weekend. Let's start our journey across the nation over in Western Australia. On Saturday night, New Horizon Pro Wrestling goes on the road to Merredin for Merredin Mayhem at Cummins Theatre. Soraya Knight is in attendance alongside all your favourite New Horizons workers, King Shahil, TJ Maxx, Rogan Karga, Society's Unwanted, and many more. Tickets start at $25. Up in Queensland, as I mentioned, Saturday night, Pro Wrestling League hold their first ever event, Project Revolution, at the Gold Coast Youth Orchestra. The Babes take on SMS and Street Revolution in a triple threat tag match. In qualifying action for the main event, Jake Nova takes on Rip Riley, Robbie Eagles faces off against Tim Cade, Mick Moretti goes one-on-one with Xander Sullivan, and Caveman Ugg is in action against Jade Diamond. There is a huge six-man match between Spaceman Dacey, JL Gold, Jackson Cross, Adonis, Jesse Daniels, and Rufio. And then in the main event, a fatal four-way ladder match to crown the first ever Pro Wrestling League champion. That is one you won't want to miss. First shows are always good shows, so make sure you head out and check this one out. Pro Wrestling League, Project Revolution, definitely looking forward to that one. On Sunday evening, United Pro Wrestling presents Sacrifice from the Shed at Aussie World. EC Diamond takes on The Gospel. Mojo Powers, Adonis, and Jesse Love face off in multi-man action. Malibu goes one-on-one with Zeke Andino. Aria Rain hosts an open challenge, and much, much more. Tickets start at just $16.50. Meanwhile, down in New South Wales on Saturday night, Rock and Roll Wrestling are live in Dapto for a school holiday show. Get the kids out of the house, head on down. Tickets are only $10 for that one. Saturday night, Suplex Wrestling present Chapter 4, Uncharted at the East Cessnock Bowling Club. Jackson Spade and Matt Bailey go one-on-one to decide who will face Jack Payne in the main event for the new Suplex Heavyweight Championship. That one was vacated, and so they're crowning a new champion. Jack Payne will face the winner of Jackson Spade and Matt Bailey. Also on the card, B-Boy takes on Lee the Man Morrow. Tommy Jewell, Jaden Jacobs, and Roswell meet up in triple threat action. The Plastics take on Alex Irvine and Nate Carlo. Jake Gibson defends the Junior Heavyweight Championship against Ryan Miller, and much, much more. Tickets for that one start at $13. In my home state of South Australia, once again, we have shows clashing. These are just academy shows, though. They're not the big shows, so it's kind of a little bit less irritating. On Saturday night, RCW Live 43 takes place at the Riot City Wrestling Academy. No matches announced for that one yet. I did reach out but didn't hear back. Tickets for that are just $10. Meanwhile, in Prospect, Adelaide Championship Wrestling presents ACW Evolve 18. Joe Mundy takes on Blake the Man Mitchell, who is still refusing to face Riley even after costing her match against Sid Parker. Riley defends her Evolve Championship against Lil Onyx. Jack Rossley goes one-on-one with Duke Marshall. James Cruiser and Mason Creed take on the Scumbag Society. And in the main event, Andy Faust and Matt Hayter lock horns. Tickets for that one start at $10. Down in Victoria, PCW bring you Tag Team Turmoil on Saturday night in Ferntree Gully. The Brotherhood defend the tag team titles against Rebels Before Kings, and plenty more tag team action. Tickets for that are $15. On Friday night, Underworld go live with their latest set of tapings. Andy Roy and Patty O'Neil face off. Slickback Cash takes on Simon Oath. JXT is looking to get his first win in Underworld at the expense of the Big Rig. Slade Mercer vs. Richie Taylor, Guac vs. Australian Wolf, Mad Dog vs. Gore, Gino Gambino is going to get his hands on Waterman, and of course Vixen defends her shiny new Underworld Championship against Avery. It's going to be one hell of a night. There's going to be more than that, obviously. I don't know how many episodes they're taping. I'm told there are surprises. We know that there's someone called Sagat Pyro is going to be making an appearance. We know that Mark Williamson wants to build the Claw. It's going to be an exciting set of tapings, and you definitely want to be there. Tickets start at $29 plus booking fee online, or $35 at the door. Definitely, if you're in Melbourne, Underworld Wrestling is one you want to check out. Then on Saturday night in Melbourne, Melbourne City Wrestling present their final show of the year, Endgame. Men for Hire take on Helter Skelter. Dowie James and Lockie Hendricks meet once again, this time in a 30-minute Iron Man matchup. Adam Brooks defends his Intercommonwealth Championship against Slex in a rematch from New Horizons, and Gino Gambino will defend the MCW Heavyweight Championship, which he claims is a World Championship now, against the King of Monsters, Jonah Rock. Definitely want to check that one out. That one takes place, of course, at the Thornbury Theatre, and tickets are available from $30. But that does it. That's everything happening in Australian professional wrestling that I've seen. If I missed anything, please let me know. It's always good to know what other companies are running, because I don't necessarily even know all the companies that exist in Australia. I do my best, but I am but one man. So let me know if I missed anything out. If you like what we do here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We don't just talk Aussie Grapps. We also talk WWE on Saturdays. We talk Impact on Mondays. All the rest on Sundays. We do all kinds of things here at the B+. We've even been throwing around talk of a gaming channel. It's getting crazy here at the B+. The B+ is growing, as you heard at the start. So hit us up, like, share, subscribe, give us that 5-star review if you feel so inclined. And thank you so much for listening.
Hold one! Arm drag!
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list!
Oh my God!
So, no speak English.
Dummy! Yeah.
Goodbye and good night. Hold two! Arm bar!
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it! Dummy!
Hold three! The moss covered